Good afternoon, everyone. Just on the cusp of afternoon as we are right at noon. My name is Yolanda Facio. I'm with the Maricopa SBDC and also with the AZSBDC. And today on today's webinar, I have with me CJ. Can you wave, CJ?
Yeah.
She's our money team expert. And also we have Esmeralda. Wave to the audience. And she is going to be in the background, sort of helping us with links, making sure that we catch all of your questions. And if you have questions, there's a Q&A box. There's also a chat. Doesn't matter where you put your questions in, just dump them in there and we will be monitoring and keeping track of that stuff. And in between, we will be answering questions and also again at the end. So today we're here to talk about the new services that the SBDC is providing for clients. And so we've sort of divided things up into three general areas to give you an idea of the kinds of things that we help small businesses with. And in doing these three things, all three of them are designed to help you grow your business. And so we're going to start with our landing page. And hopefully when you signed up, you got a link that directed you to this page. And so you can see what we're seeing if you have your browser up. And this is our main intake area for information about our programs. And so here we go down to the bottom, and you're going to see three bubbles, and those three circles, Start, Grow, Match, are the three main programs that we have. So we're going to start with Start. We're going to start at the start. And CJ is going to give us a little bit of overview of what Start means for small businesses.
All right. Thank you, Yolanda. A little background about me. I've been with the SBDC for about, well, it's over 3 years now. Prior to that, I was a commercial lender for about 20 years. And as a lender, I would refer my small business clients to the local SBDCs in my area because I knew that those counselors would provide that really good one-on-one services that would actually strengthen my client's business overall. A little bit further into today's webinar, I'll discuss how existing businesses can grow their businesses with the help of the SBDC. But for right now, I want to address the people that are just beginning their journey on the path to small business ownership. The SBDCs are here for the entrepreneur as well as the established business. Perhaps you are in a position where you don't really know where to start. Maybe you have an idea. You just don't know where to begin. You don't know what the laws and everything are here in Arizona, or you don't know what you need to know because you just don't have a way to begin. And I apologize for that.
You're a newbie.
Yeah, you're just a newbie. And we deal with the newbies all the way to established all the time. And on the screen, you see the start bubble here. And when you click into that, it will give you just a little window of some brief questions, your name, some contact information. When you fill that out and you'll choose what county does your business operate in, even if it's not operating yet, what you anticipate it to be, that'll connect you with your local SBDC center. And after you hit the Start Your Small Business, you'll receive an email that will give you a direct link that you'll click on, and it'll take you into another section of that center's website. That'll be the request for counseling. And when you click in there, it'll ask you some more additional questions. And then after that point, you'll be assigned to have a counselor, an advisor, that'll work directly with you from that point going forward. I know like at the Maricopa Center, because we have 10 centers throughout Arizona, but locally here in Maricopa, they have a pre-venture program that is really excellent. It's self-paced and everything. You get into that, and you work your way through all the different models, and they have videos and some other study materials as well. And that will help you on some of the questions that you may have. And trying to think, what else does that do? I think after that, then you're just on your way. A lot of the advisors that are in each of the centers, they come from all walks of life, and some have been previous business owners as well. So they really know their stuff, and they'll be able to walk you through each of the different steps in order to get that business going. And also just check if the idea is a plausible one that is going to be profitable for you. So we take you from the A to the Z in that.
We have lots of tools. So lots of tools for determining market information, tools for helping you create a business plan, tools for helping you sort of outline just a strategy for how you're going to tackle the startup of your business, along with guiding you through the very basic startup tasks like getting your LLC set up, getting your trade name registered, getting your first bank account, your IRS EIN number. There's all of these sort of steps that you want to make sure that you complete as you get started. And so we can help and walk you through all of that.
Right, right. There are an immense amount of tools and research venues that we can use to help you make a really strong case for your business when you have to sit before that lender and basically sell it to them as to why they should lend you money. And we'll help walk you through it all the way. So it's exciting.
So we're here to help. That's the primary message that we want to send. The SBDC centers are located all throughout Arizona. There is a center near you somewhere that can help you get started. And everyone there is qualified to help you. So if you do have an idea for starting a business, we're the place to go to get started. So we hope that if that's the place that you're at, that we will see you by you clicking, getting that form in. You'll get the appropriate links. If you're already an existing SBDC customer, you'll get the links. You'll go in to essentially register for counseling, and it'll bring you up the screen for updating your information, and we'll know that you're looking for help, and we will get you connected with your counselor or a counselor at the center for the area that your business is in. So, so that's all about startup stuff. And I know that there's lots when you're getting started. One of the things that I try to impart a little tiny bit of wisdom is it's scary. There's a lot to do, but don't get overwhelmed, because we're here to answer all the questions and talk you off the ledge. I like to say that because I remember being, starting my first business, and I didn't have anybody to talk me off the ledge, and I needed it probably on the daily. So if you feel like you just need some help navigating, that's what we're here for. So our next option on our Grow Your Small Business page is the Grow area. And let's go ahead and move into Grow. Normally we go to the AERO, but let's start with Grow, because I see that our special guest, Brian from Wells Fargo, has joined us. And so he's going to be here to answer some questions. And CJ will tell you a little bit more about what it means to get capital resources or money and funding for your startup, for your small business that you have existing. It doesn't matter what place you are in the journey, because we help lots and lots and lots of businesses, startups all the way through businesses who've been, doing business in the Valley for 10 years or more. So we can help. So Brian, are you there with us?
I am here. I'm trying to power up my camera here. Bear with me real quick. I think I got it.
No worries. So CJ, why don't you get started a little bit more? You've told us a little bit about your background as a commercial banker. And so let me just say, when I work with clients who are needing funding, I get to work with CJ, and it's awesome. She can give you a perspective about what a bank is actually looking for when they look at your business plan and when they look at your financials. And that allows us to get you prepared and in the best possible shape to go in front of those lenders like Wells Fargo. So do you have anything to add, CJ?
Yeah, like I said earlier, the SBDC when I was a lender, I used them all the time because they did so much of the heavy lift on getting that loan package together. And now that I'm in this position, I can do preview of these packages and look for those red flags if there's any, or if there's missing items, because the more I can cut down the time on the front for you before you meet with your lender, they appreciate it even the more, because they can streamline it and get it through the process a lot faster. So that is always key. That was one of my biggest selling points for using the SBDC as a lender myself. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I enjoy so much what I do now in supporting the 10 centers and making sure that, you know, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and that best possible position. And then also, you know, I'm the voice of reason too when it comes to projections, asking them the hard questions before they get to the lender so that they have answers prepared. You know, like, where did you get these numbers from? You know, what documentation are you using to create these projections? Lenders don't like it when you just grab numbers out of the sky and just throw them in a box, because that doesn't get the deal done. So I bet you Brian has seen a few of those that have just come across. You're like, what is this? So we try to cut that down. So
Yes.
all right. So with that, I would like to ask Brian some questions on some of the deals that he sees, some helpful tips that he can convey to you, and see what he has to say.
Yeah. And so some tips. I think that you know, I get asked questions often around kind of what Wells Fargo looks for in a loan. And what I would say on the business side, it is a little bit more of trying to identify the positives and mitigate the risks, as opposed to like a residential loan. It's a very standardized process, and you know, you plug in the numbers and you can kind of project the outcomes, right? On the business side, there's a variety of moving parts within a deal, and it's always, you know, trying to understand the full picture, and there's stories behind it, right? And so I often coach my bankers is when we uncover something that might be a risk to the deal, is I often ask, you know, tell me the story. You know, why did we get where we were? Is there you know, is there a reason for it other than, you know, if we are coming across bad credit, for example, is there a reason for it? Did the individual just not feel like paying their bills? Hopefully not. There might be a greater reason for that. You know, coming out of COVID, there is a lot of businesses that were really struggling. And so, you know, they might have that 30-day or that 60-day late, but there's a story behind it, right? And so if it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago for that late, then we might be able to get more comfortable with it. If it was last month, well, that might not be the best story to lead with, because, you know, we are starting to see, by and large, most businesses start to get some level of normalcy within their business. And so I tell you all of this to lead up to my first tip, which is disclose everything. Disclose everything to the bank, because a lot of the times, I would say the vast majority, 99.9% of the time, we're going to uncover it anyway. You know, for this one loan that you're doing, we do thousands a day. And so we have a really good process of better understanding the opportunity. And so as you're working with your banker and then with the credit team, allow your banker the information so that they can proactively advocate for you in your business. And so if they're caught off guard at the same time the underwriting is caught off guard, it doesn't benefit you at all. And so by getting over some of these potential hurdles early in the process, it only improves the situation. And so even if you think it may not even make a difference, I would say if you have even a little inkling of whether it make a difference, disclose it. And I'll give you a perfect example. We just had a conversation. I can't tell you the customer's name, but the individual owned a lot of land, and part of the land was being rented for marijuana growing. Okay. And so it's a credit policy of Wells Fargo that we do not loan to businesses that are involved in that industry because it's a federally regulated industry. But in this situation, the individual had nothing to do with anything other than just renting the dirt. And comparatively, it was a very low percentage of his overall income, less than like 5%. And so it allowed us to kind of craft the story and better understand that, hey, underwriter, you're probably going to uncover this, but let's talk about it now. Let's disclose it now. And if it's going to be an issue, let's tell the customer pretty early in the process, this is going to be an issue, and then not make them jump through a bunch of hoops. And we were able to get comfortable with that. Because of those factors, and a big part of it was they disclosed it to us before we even took the application, and so it builds that credibility with you and potentially your business. The next tip that I would recommend is having clean financials, and so let me define what clean financials are, right? And so I'm not looking for, just an absolute ton of income. As a lender, I'd love to see that, but right, businesses, they ebb and flow. And what I'm really advocating for is, tax returns, that are filed. There are times before where businesses haven't even filed tax returns in 3 or 4 years, but want credit, and that's an automatic. We can't move forward. But then 2, make sure that they're clean. They're not handwritten. If we ask for interim statements, that they're not handwritten. They don't have to be audited. We're not saying, hey, you got to go to a CPA or you got to go to an audit firm and pay thousands of dollars to get audited financials. But QuickBooks, if you're a business owner and you're looking for credit, invest in the couple $100s and get an accounting software that has the ability to rifle off these interim statements. It makes going to a lender, even not just Wells Fargo, but name your lender. It just makes it that much easier for that lender to approve your deal, right? Because we want to, as a business owner, you want to make it as easy as possible for that lender to say, wow, this business is profitable, or we can see the trending within this business. We're going to make this loan. You want to make it as easy as possible for that lender to make that decision. And so good, clean financials is another suggestion, another tip, if you will.
So Brian, I just want to interject right here, because that's
please.
a really great tip. And it's one of the things that we help with. So we have, one of the things we're asking, clients to do a lot of the time is to get an accounting software, right? Because it does make their lives easier. But if they don't have that, right, if they're just getting started, then we help, right? We've got tools so that we can help them get those projections ready and in good working order before you get a chance to look at them. So it's part of like helping that business owner not be overwhelmed, right? And then get discouraged when they come to you. We kind of want to help, mitigate that so that clients can come, get ready before they get to you. And hopefully it just makes your job that much easier.
Absolutely. And that's why I enjoy getting referrals from the SBDC because I know that, some of these things are going to be cleaned up. And so when we have the conversation that they are ready for that conversation. And there is a home, even if it's not with Wells Fargo, because we are typically a little bit more of a conservative bank. There is a deal there. There is a need there, and there's there's proof that there's a need there, right? If they're looking for a line of credit or a credit card, you can kind of walk back as to why they need that credit card or that line of credit facility through financials. So I couldn't say it any better. The next is be open to suggestions. And so what I mean by that is oftentimes we have business owners that come to us and say, hey, we want a $50,000 credit card. We want a $25,000 credit card. You name it. We want a line of credit. And we ask, well, why? What are you seeing in your business? And they go, well, it would be nice. Okay, but why? Justify it to us of why you're needing this line. And so a lot of the time the business owner goes into the conversation thinking that they need one thing, and they get super laser focused on that one thing. And a lot of the times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, some of the times, often, in having a conversation and having conversations about your ARs and your APs and how you collect money and how money goes out of your account, there are other products within the bank that may be cheaper and have a higher probability of being able to sign you up for, right? If you are just starting out as a business owner and you're looking for a $200,000 line of credit, well, I'll in this hypothetical situation, that's going to be a pretty tall ask, right, to get that large of a line right out of the gate. And so by better understanding how you're collecting payments and how money is going out, there might still be a credit opportunity. May not be 200, but there are some other products within the bank, and not just Wells Fargo, but any bank that you talk to, that like treasury management services. And so it helps you collect your money faster, and then also hold on to your money longer, right? The name of the game is to get your money fast and then hold on to it for as long as you possibly can before the money goes out. And so the longer that you hold that capital, the more power you have as a business owner. Because what I share with a lot of business owners is cash is the universal fuel for your business. Okay, cash solves a lot of different problems. You need to hire somebody, cash can solve that. You need to buy more inventory, cash can solve that, right? And so it solves a lot of the issues. And so you want to hold on to that resource as much and as long as possible. And we can help with that where you may not need that large line that you originally thought. So be open to suggestions, especially starting out, because that large line may not be available for you.
Yeah, I'd like to tag on to that too, because I'm all about cash is king. Absolutely. One of the other things that the SBDC brings to the table is that when you're talking with your advisor and you're telling them your wish list, your goals, all these type of things, they'll look at your operations. They'll look at how things are operating, because it could be something as changing a process internally that'll help buy you some more time or buy you some more cash flow. So we look at it in that aspect too. So, and then when we get to the end of it, we say, yep, you're gonna still need some funding. And this is how much we think that you may qualify for, and it will debt service it. So I also want to answer a question that came into the chat box. It's from Chandra. It says, what risks are you looking for with real estate business? So when you get real estate deals, Brian, what kind of risks are you looking at?
So I promise I'm not trying to sidestep the question, but I'll kind of revert back to one of the first comments that I made is commercial real estate. What I love about commercial real estate, I have a passion for it, is every deal is unique. And so every property is going to have some type of risks to it. And so I can't just fundamentally say all commercial real estate have, this particular risk element to it. So I really would need to know I would need to know kind of specifically what the property is. Now I will say, I'll kind of rephrase your question, and hopefully this is kind of getting where you're going, is what does Wells Fargo look for when lending to commercial real estate? And so specifically on owner occupied. So you intend to have a business, your business, occupy at least 51% of the space. In those situations, we're looking for a healthy business, one that has been around, depending on the loan product. SBA, they'll do a startup business or with a good business plan and projections. If you go conventional, the business has to be in operation for at least 2 years prior to, I'm sorry, 3 years. Sorry, they changed that. So 3 years prior to being able to place conventional debt on it. So a lot of the times for smaller business owners that is, looking to buy their first property, we go the SBA route. And so what we're looking for is a strong, strong business, typically with liquidity. There's not there every deal is going to be unique, right? But I would say on average, we look for 5 to 10% down if we go the SBA route. So it's having some level of liquidity. And then we're also looking for a borrower that has a strong credit. So I am careful not to put a FICO out there, because again, as I go back to my first point, is there's always a story, right? And so if there is a story, it may affect your interest rate. We may not be able to change the interest rates that's given to you, but it will affect whether we can do the deal or not if there's a story behind a low FICO or having some blemishes on that credit score. So hopefully those three elements at a very high level answer your question around commercial real estate. Okay, so I got a mobile home investments, more specifically inside of the parks. Okay, so mobile homes, we do not lend on mobile homes. And the reason for that is that the asset is not secured to the ground. You can argue that, these homes aren't moving, right? And I would tend to probably agree with you. But the fact that if they wanted to, you could pick up and you can move these homes. Wells Fargo does not lend to mobile homes. But I will tell you, your best bet for these types of investments, because obviously there are lenders that do make loans on mobile home parks, I would recommend going with a local bank that can get very comfortable with the real estate. It's in their backyard, they can see it, the banker drives by it on their way to work every single day, so they can see that asset of it. But that would probably be your best shot for that specific property type. Does Wells Fargo help with purchasing an actual park? An actual mobile home park? No. So an actual mobile home park, Wells Fargo, do they help? I don't know what help means. We do not lend on mobile home parks if that's, or if you're saying, do we help facilitate, maybe help, point you in the right direction? I'm sure we would be able to. I'm a little.
Yeah, I think it's a funding question. Like, do you lend to purchase?
So we do not lend on mobile home parks.
Yeah, and with my position with the SBDC, we interact with many different lenders and do special kind of loans as well. We interact with. If you connect with us through the SBDC, then we can help guide you through the lender that would fit with that.
Getting some feedback. I don't know if you can turn all the mics off, Esmeralda.
Yeah, thank
That'd
you.
be great. Brian, and we had another couple of questions. I'm going to try to paraphrase
Okay.
to make it easy. So what is the best way to get a DUNS score or a PAYDEX score number up? And are you relying on those, right, when you're doing small business lending?
Yeah, so it is something that we look at to look at the overall picture, but it's not the determining factor. And so that's really important to kind of distinguish, because we know, especially in our world, I work with small business, that's my customer segment. We understand that small business owners may not have a Dun & Bradstreet score, right? And so we're not working with the $50 million companies that have several, lines of credit and have a CFO, and they know how to navigate this environment. And so it is something that we look at, but it's not something that determines whether a deal gets approved or not. And so to answer your question, as far as how to get a Dun & Bradstreet score up, I would answer it twofold. One is, a lot of times a business doesn't even have a score. So one, I'm going to teach you how to, or I'm going to give you a couple of tips to even get a score. And then the second one is, how to improve the score. So the first one is, if you own a business, open up checking accounts in that business. Stop using personal accounts. Start bifurcating your business and your personal. The next is credit cards. So if you are using a personal credit card to fund your business, I get it. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes there's no other option. But the fastest, or the quickest way to get that Dun & Bradstreet score to actually populate or improve is get something in the name of the business that is tied to your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and be sure that credit card is reporting it, because I've found that not all business credit cards report, unfortunately. So just ask the question before you apply. Say, where do you report this credit history to before you even apply?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think that's probably the absolute easiest before going into, there are companies out there that specialize in kind of improving this and kind of going in and there's a fee associated with it. But that the easiest way to do it is to try to open up checking accounts in your, not try, a lot of the times that's there's not really an approval process for that. So open up checking accounts, savings accounts in your business name. And then when your business is able, I would open up a credit card, even if it's $500. Even if it doesn't make a dent in what you actually need for your business, open it up, establish some credit, and then you can always increase that credit card or that line over time. But try to do it as fast as possible.
Yes, great. I had a client, very small business, we worked on getting him his very first credit card. It was about $500. And, a year and a half later, even through COVID, his sales are off the charts and he has lots of credit. So
Awesome.
it's just about, getting started. So before we answer some more financial questions, Brian, can you stick with us for a little bit longer?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. Because I know we do have some more questions, but I wanted to get to the third part of our presentation in terms of how we help folks grow their businesses. So just to circle back on the Grow Circle, there is a form that you can fill out to get started with SBDC. It asks some questions, and then it will get you links to get signed up as an SBDC client and get some counseling. And many times you will be talking with CJ on the money team. So just know that that is the path to getting more help around finance, capital, funding. And we can answer a lot of the questions that many of you have around funding. We can answer those questions as well and help do a review of whether or not you're ready for credit and help you get ready for credit. And so our last piece, the last service that we are going to talk about today is the match service, which is called AERO. And in order to get started with AERO, once you hit the Get Started link, it's going to take you to our AERO page. So I want to talk a little bit quickly about what AERO is, because this is a new business-to-business marketplace that is designed to help all of our SBDC clients. The idea is that we have clients who have specialties and expertise, they're service providers, and they can do work for some of our other clients who may not have those areas of expertise. And the goal here is to get them together and help facilitate getting those projects done. So I like to use the concept of a website, because that's something that most small business owners need. They're expensive. It's, you don't know where to go to find someone, but you need it in order to grow your business and get more customers and get more exposure. And so in that scenario, we would say that you are a service seeker. You are someone who is seeking the services of a service provider to get that website done. And so your goal would be to sign up as a service seeker, post your project on our business-to-business platform, and then a service provider who happens to be a web designer or developer will come in and say, hey, that's something I can help you with. They will apply to your project. You'll have a conversation about your project, and then they will get the work done for you. So for the person who is a service seeker, that is the small business owner who is seeking a service, wanting to get that website done, that service is offered to you for free. So you don't pay anything, and it's because of Wells Fargo, yay. So we got a big grant from Wells Fargo. They're funding all of this. So you get the service for free. Now, if you're a service provider and you're coming in and you want to do that work to build your portfolio, start making connections, start getting some work done, for you, when the project is complete, you will receive a stipend. And the stipend amounts vary. They're up to $1,200. And so for the service provider, you're getting some stipend money, and that's coming from the Wells Fargo grant. And for the service seeker, you're getting a much needed task item from your task list done and complete. And now you have the ability to get some more exposure and grow your business. So the projects range. It can be web development, graphic design, accounting, writing. Maybe you need some press releases. Maybe you need a marketing plan or a business plan. Any of those types of things that you have on your plate that you need some support with, that's what this program is for. And so you come to this page either by clicking the match link, or Esmeralda can put the actual web link in the chat for you. Either way, you're going to come to this page. You're going to choose that you are either a service provider wanting to provide services and receive a stipend in return, or you're a service seeker. You're looking to get something done in your business. You need some help, some support, and you want to get that help and support for free. Either of these buttons take you to sign up pages. I'll go over to the service provider side. So you'll get to the service provider side. There's a big red Get Started button here. You will click that, answer all of the questions on the form, and it will get you started. And you will receive by email a link to register with our service provider for this platform. The name of that product is Ripen. So we'll take you to the Ripen page to get registered. You only want to use that link to get registered because it's a very special link just for AERO customers. If you want to take a quick look, when you click that Get Started button, it's just going to ask you a bunch of questions. They're super easy to answer. You'll just go through, answer all of those, and submit, and you will get an email. If you would like to learn more information about either being a service provider or service seeker, the page has lots of information about what the program is all about. And so at any point, you can just hit the Get Started button and get started. So I'm going to do a quick jump. Let's see if
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, thanks.
When they're going through their questions, what if they don't have a website to put into that one field and it's a required field? What do they do? www.abc.com. So just put in a generic anything.
whatever website address, and it will accept it. If you do have a website, great. But if you are looking to get one done, you can just put in a generic website address and it will accept that. But it does need the www.whatever.com. And you can put in your the name of your hopeful domain name if you have that already. So you can do that as well. Thanks, CJ. It's a good question. So once you get registered and you get into our platform, this is kind of what our platform looks like. You'll register, you'll get in, you'll set up your information about your small business, and then you will see all of the programs that we have. We have 7 different program cards. One of these squares is considered a card, and within each of those, you'll click and you'll see the projects that are available. So I'm going to go into the web design card, and then in this page, it's a lot, so I'm just going to go quickly. There's a projects area, and you can just kind of see these are all of the projects that are posted right now to that area and where they are in project completion. So you can kind of see like who is looking for work, who wants your help. For this particular project, this client is looking for a website that needs to be redesigned. There's, an outline of what's there. So as a service seeker, you're going to put in all of these details around the kind of project that you want. And as a service provider, you'll see these details. You'll be able to see if that's a good fit for your skill set. And so it's a really simple way to sort of match resources. SBDC clients who are experts in what they do, and SBDC clients who need some of that expertise and help. So if you have specific questions about our AERO program, you can go to the, is the link at the bottom? Let's see, you can scroll down here. There's a help center, so you can go there and get an overview. And then there is an email address that Esmeralda is going to share. So that email address that she's going to share comes to an inbox, and I will see it, and, and I will be able to answer any questions that you have. So just if you have questions about the AERO program, I know we're kind of running through it quickly. The benefit is the most important part. There's lots of information. There's a process to get signed up. It's not super quick. You do have to be an SBDC client. So we'll prompt you to get signed up to be an SBDC client. As a service provider, we want you to have an LLC. We want you to have your EIN. We want you to be a real business. And so the criteria is there aren't a bunch of criteria, but we do have a few. Either way, we can answer all those questions. Your counselor, your SBDC counselor, if you're already an existing customer, your SBDC counselor can answer all of the questions and or pull me in and we'll have a conversation. I'm here to help scope projects, answer questions, get you matched with service providers, and help throughout the process. So if you send an email, I will definitely see it and answer all of your questions and help you get started. So for today, really just an overview. We do have some other videos on our website, the Maricopa Center, that will lead you step by step through the process of, clicking each button and answering each question, what goes where. So you can look at those as well. We'll send some resources to you after our webinar is finished. So I want to make sure that I leave enough time to get additional questions answered. So Esmeralda, do we have any more questions in the chat? And I see that Genevieve has her hand up, so I want to make sure we give attention to everyone.
We do have a few questions. Tammy asked about credit scores. If you have a good one, does it help to have these scores? I don't know.
So if you do have a good, I think she was circling back on her original question. So if you have a done score, does it help to have a good done score? And I think Brian's probably going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. There are so many factors that they look at. There isn't one specific thing that throws you into the yes, you get funding spot, right? It's a culmination of all the things. Would that be a good way to say it, Brian?
Absolutely. And so as I said before, that's why I love commercial is it's a big puzzle piece. And so you're always trying to figure out how to put the puzzle together. And there's not one thing that that determines whether a deal is going to work or not. It's a combination of a lot of different things.
Great.
Do you think Cabbage line of credit is good to use?
Cabbage is an online lender credit.
Lender.
Fintech. I mean, I can answer it for you if you'd like. And so as Wells Fargo, I'm a little biased. Okay. But I also understand that Cabbage fills a need. And so there are times where traditional lending is not on the table. The business might be going through something that precludes them from being able to be approved from a conventional lender like Wells Fargo or even a smaller credit union. And so there is a time and a place where Cabbage is an excellent avenue that kind of bridge the gap between your business or the cash cycle within your business. And so I know it feels like I'm sidestepping the questions, all of the questions, but it really depends. It really, honestly, it depends. And I'll give you a perfect example. It's not Cabbage specifically, but it is a fintech like Cabbage. I was talking to a distillery that's not in Arizona, one of my other markets, and they took out a line to, it was during COVID, and they took out a line to continue to buy inventory because supply chains were tightening up. And so, their revenue was down. Lenders were, really hard pressed to release any capital because there was so much uncertainty in the market. And so they did what they had to do to keep the doors open. And now they're back to a more profitable stance. And we're looking at ways that we can extend them credit and potentially even take out that line of credit that they took out, during COVID. And so it really depends.
Great. So another question, I want to get to Genevieve since she has had her hand up for a while.
I just posted an answer and a link to her question.
Oh, so how do you find your DUNS score? So CJ just posted it in the chat. Oh, so how do you find your DUNS score? So CJ just posted it in the
That was interesting. I put in the chat link.
Yes.
There you go. I put in the link. There you go.
Sorry, that's Genevieve, and I think she wanted to ask something live.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
I didn't see that in the chat.
Go ahead, Genevieve.
Yes, well, my question was, how do I find out what my DUNS score is?
I think the chat might be lagging. You guys said that you put the link in the chat, but I don't see that yet either. I think the chat might be lagging. You guys said put the link in the chat.
Oops. That was my bad because I didn't put it to everyone. It had defaulted. There you go. Sorry. Because everyone defaulted.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up here and just make sure if I have missed any questions. I think there's
someone with their hand raised.
Oh,
Zena.
Thank you. Zena.
Yeah, I wrote in the chat. I don't know if it's easy for you guys to hear me because I know a lot of people have been cutting out, but I was just asking about, I'm starting a business with 2 other partners. One of my partners has really good credit, like ridiculously high credit. I don't have the best credit, it's not terrible, and the other partner is like okay credit. When looking for lending, do you guys consider everyone's credit score, or can that one person's really good credit kind of carry us, or what are some other like techniques of going about getting lending? Could we just do it through the one guy with a good credit? Any kind of advice for that?
So I'll tell you what, every lender is going to be different. So I can only speak to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, they'll blend the rate, or they'll blend the FICO. So they'll take the average of all of the borrowers and come up with a specific number from there. And as far as, you know, putting lending in one individual name or not, I can't help you structure to skate around credit policy. But what I will tell you is that Wells Fargo requires anyone with greater than 20% ownership in the business to be an applicant on our application.
Exactly.
I'm sorry?
I says, yep, what you said exactly. It's just 20% and greater, you're on the loan. So, does Wells Fargo also have a policy, like if you have many co-borrowers or owners, I should say co-owners, of having 80% representation of ownership?
So typically it's not 80, it's we need anyone with 20 or greater, and then we also need controlling. So we need at least 51% of ownership to guarantee our loan. So we need controlling ownership. So if we can get that with one person and the rest of the individuals are less than 20%, we're good to go with that one person. But if it takes us 10 borrowers, then to get to 51, then we need all 10 borrowers.
Makes sense.
Any other questions?
We have one
Zena,
in-
let me just, I'm sorry, Esmeralda.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zena, do you have follow-on question?
No, I think that answered my question. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thanks.
We have one in the Q&A box. So what can the SBDC do for me since I'm in real estate that deals with mobile homes?
So CJ, do you want to tackle that or shall I?
I thought we did, but
So I guess I understand, I think what you're saying. So you're wondering like, what other things can we do if you're in real estate and your business is in purchasing or doing deals that involve mobile homes? While we may not be able to help with funding specifically, or at least Wells Fargo can't, that doesn't mean that there aren't other banks or other funding institutions that we can't reach out to help try to find funding for you. Would that be correct, CJ?
yeah. My question would be to Chandra's, are you purchasing the land and then just building out cement pads and providing utilities? Or is this like a manufactured home park, or is it an RV park? Because I just want to make sure of the clarification. You can unmute yourself if you can.
No, ma'am, there are mobile home parks that already have homes there. I don't own the land.
Okay. All right.
But I'm moving towards purchasing land and putting homes.
Yeah. I know that I had some alternate lenders when I used to work for US Bank that I would refer people to. And I am, as an SBDC client, I can reach out and look on your behalf.
So we can try to help you with that. So signing up for SBDC, you would be assigned a counselor, and that counselor would talk with you about what specifically your goals are for your business. And if capital is one of those goals, then they would work with someone on our money team. And we have several people that are on the money team. And those people are typically folks who have commercial bank experience. And so they come to it kind of like CJ does, with some of the knowledge that Brian has, so that we can prep you before you go in front of lenders. And we try to find lenders that are a good fit for you specifically, and then refer you out to those lenders. And it's certainly, so just to be clear, starting up businesses and funding businesses, and hopefully you're interested in our AERO program, those aren't our only services. So at the SBDC, we provide any number of things: operational help, management help, hiring help. We're there to provide assistance and advice, counseling, resources at any point in your business. So even if we can't get you funding, if you need help with developing a marketing plan, if you need help with developing strategies for, right now, economic conditions as they exist, what should you be doing? I had a client come to me and say, what should I be doing? How much money should I have in my checking account? How many months worth of bills should I be ready to pay? Right? I'm not sure how you would answer that, Brian. I said 6 months to be on the safe side, because we don't know what the economy is going to do in the next 6 months. So be prepared. So there are lots of things that we can do and be available to you as a resource to answer those questions when you aren't sure.
Yeah, I recently had a client that was looking to expand to a new location, and they had given me the area that they were looking at, and we discussed about the demographics that they were trying to reach. And after the research was done through the SBDC partners, that wasn't a good location. So we saved him lots of money, even trying to head down that path from the start. It's like, nope, that's not going to meet your need. So,
and at the end of the day, here's what I would say. We are a no cost resource.
right.
So it doesn't cost you anything to get signed up. It doesn't cost you anything to get a time with a counselor. And I would argue that most of the time you're going to get some benefit out of speaking with someone and having us as a resource. And you don't have any other work to do other than to reach out to us when you need our services and help. And we're always here. And try to be.
And thank you, ladies.
Yeah, and this is a big team, even if it's in a specialty field that I might not have a lot of experience in, like say import export. We have people on team that I can bring in, and we do co-counseling. So it's really good. You've technically prepaid for this because we're in part funded through the SBA and the federally funded. So your tax dollars have went towards this. So take advantage of us.
Right.
That's what I always tell people.
Right. So hopefully you've had an opportunity in the chat to get our SBG email address, the link for the AERO website, and the link for our initial landing page for our services, and take a look at those. We're going to send some of that via email after the event, correct, Esmeralda?
That is correct, Yolanda. You'll be receiving a survey along with a recording of today's webinar and the email of the SBG email, sorry.
And Esmeralda is awesome. You will get that before the end of the day. So hopefully we've answered as many questions as we can, but that doesn't mean that we aren't available to answer more. Just send us a quick email. Thanks everyone for taking time out of your lunch hour to be with us, especially Brian. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.